Hello,
Ooh, Lord.
and welcome to the truth
Behind
behind
the
the
truth.
truth. Oh my gosh, it has been an evening thus far already.
Can we tell the truth?
Right. Can we tell the
Can you
truth behind
not
the
tell
truth?
the truth? It has been an evening tonight, boy. Guys, thank you so much for your patience and waiting. For those of you who have been waiting at the 6 o'clock hour, 9:30 hour, whatever that hour was for you, we had a little technical difficulty with that because we were trying to bring to you in a different, bigger format. But however, some things happen. Okay, at the end of the day. But the good news is, guess what? We
We're
are
all
all
together.
here.
In
Yes,
the house.
yes,
We
yes.
all in the house.
Yes.
We all up
I don't
in
know how to
here.
do it.
All in the house. What we have been looking forward to and bringing you to this opportunity of really, really showing the vibe that who we are and the press that we will always be in the house together. Okay, so we are definitely working on that. But I'm excited. I am really, really excited. In spite of our difficulties, hey, we're gonna press on. So if you're just joining us, if you waited patiently, thank you so much. Tonight we have a wonderful cast tonight with us. We'll get with them very shortly. This is the cast of God Guys, the play. And I hear this play is going to be phenomenal. Oh, well, actually, pre-shows was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they've already got write-ups about it, and the show is already sold out for the weekend. I think they start October 15th. Wow, that's tonight. Something else great going on too.
Yeah.
That's the night we bring to you our new season. All right,
Season 3.
Season three. Yes, indeed. So it's one of the things we're doing out here. Of course, in our home in LA. Harold's out here in LA with us. We're getting the vibe together. We're getting the shots together. We're making everything look great for season 3. So it's going to be awesome. So guys, I'm just excited tonight.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm glad we had an opportunity to get to you. So let's talk, fellas, before we get this great cast in here.
Yeah.
So how you doing, Harold? Welcome to LA.
Welcome.
Well, it's nice to be here.
Yes.
I'm glad to see all you guys
Yes.
live and in color.
Right.
It's been a year since we've been together,
Yes.
so this is an awesome occasion.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, so we guys, we're trying to get Harold to move to LA, but you know that we'll talk about that later.
We're working on it.
We're working on it. You know what I'm saying? Get that back. Well, at least he can come here to go to work with this, go to work, and then go back to North Carolina on the weekend. Something like that. We're gonna work it out anyway. Brother, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here. This is good to have our energy on the same room.
Yes, it
you
is.
know.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled about that. I'm so thrilled about that. Go ahead. You want to say
Oh, that's all.
Okay.
I'm ready to get the guys on here.
Yeah, I
Talk
know,
about
right?
it.
How are you? Man?
I'm great.
Good.
I'm good.
Just great. Good.
Great and good.
Good and great.
Yeah.
All right.
How are you, JB?
Oh man, I'm a little pressured.
Yes.
You
It's
know.
all right. Woosah.
Yeah, I know which side. Yeah,
Woosah. We're all
Little-
here.
little-
Release.
exactly. A little pressured because when you're the headship of a situation, you always want things to go smooth.
Yeah.
And there's always a reason why some things doesn't happen the way they're supposed to. But then you get in the mode, say, okay, you know what? It was supposed to happen the way it was.
Exactly.
You know?
And pressure always happens before change.
Oh wait,
You know,
okay, wait a
And
minute.
it's just pushing us to the
There's a
next
word.
level.
Yes.
There's a word. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going. Keep
So-
preaching that.
No, so when things like this happen, that is an indication of next level.
Right. Wow.
Wow.
I like that.
Don't make me start crying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Lord, don't make him start crying.
Do not.
Stop it. Cease and desist.
Do not make me start crying because
So rather
when I
than
feel-
getting frustrated, we should rejoice.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Harold.
Indeed. Woo. All right, y'all keep talking because I'm going to have to pull ourselves together. Go ahead. Wow.
Well, let's get on this topic since we're now at the beginning of this show. Let's
Yes.
get on a good topic. We're going to talk about Miss Tiffany Haddish.
Oh my
okay?
gosh. Yes.
we
That's a
have-
good
That's good. All right. That's a good part.
Well, honestly, I hope this is a good topic and there's all the way. Let's just say this.
Right. Okay.
Let's just say it's something has happened that hopefully it has turned out to be a positive situation.
Okay.
So at this point in the game, we already know about the allegation and the situation with the PSA
Yes.
thing that they did, what she did with Aries Spears.
Right.
Now it has been settled with Jane Doe and John Doe.
Okay.
And the two kids, they now have the money that was settled on the back end. So but she has came out and said that she has lost gigs
Wow.
because of it.
Oh, wow.
So
Wow.
there is a
Okay.
situation where there's probably something that's going on with her career where she's kind of going through a little bit of a shakeup.
Right.
But how do y'all feel about that? Do you think because of this situation I don't think it has tarnished her to the point of not having a career. I don't think it has gotten that much attention. But how do y'all feel about that? Do you think she should lose out on work since this has happened?
I think there just needs to be some space right now. I don't
Okay.
think that she should lose out. I think that companies and networks, they don't want to be associated or
Right.
affiliated. But
Right.
I don't think that she should be canceled for this. I just
Okay.
think that there needs to be some space.
Right.
You know.
You know, that canceled culture is so detrimental right now because you can get canceled for sneezing.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of this
Yeah.
climate, I mean, because then they figure he's passing COVID because you're sneezing.
Right.
You know, at the end of this, you get canceled for that. But I think my point on that is that I'm very sad to see what she had gotten involved in because she seemed to be really blossoming, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Whether she was directly involved in it or not, you know, I think that as who we are in the industry, you have to covet what you do. You know, I mean, you have to not put yourself out there, you know, at the end of the day, or be associated with a lot of things because people will and mass media will always try to find its way of getting inside of you to destroy you.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, you have to be very careful. I mean, you're on the front every day and you have to make things that, you know, I mean, and you can speak to that. You know, I can too. I mean, all of us can,
Yeah.
you know, but, you know, I mean, share what, I mean, and your thoughts about that, you know.
Well, my thing is, I didn't see the video in question, so I can't really make an educated
Right.
judgment on what or did not happen.
Right.
But I know a lot of people felt very uncomfortable with the adults and children being in this sexual situation or whatever.
Right.
Exploited to be exact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so not saying, I mean, I know there are roles where people have to play pedophiles or whatever, and that, you know, there's all kind of guidelines
Right.
and rules on how
Right.
that safety is handled.
Right.
I don't know what happened on that set
Right.
with those kids or whatever. But the general consensus seems to be that it was done in poor taste,
Right.
you know, and the mother claims that, you know, she didn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, it is that whole thing of like, you don't just send your children off to go, oh, you want to make a movie with my child? Sure, take them. I trust
Right.
you.
Right.
It's like, but I don't really know you, but I'm sending my kids to be off with you.
Right.
So there, I mean, there's some give and take on all sides of it.
Absolutely.
I'm sure
It's like
everybody.
that old Motown song. It's the same old song.
Right.
It's the
Yeah.
same song.
Right.
Yeah, like we have talked about this in some other situations and some other topics. I think if you are sending children off to work in whatever industry or whatever entertainment industry, you need to be over them. You need to know what they are getting into because there's so much stuff going on that I think as parents you need to know.
Right.
Whether they're in school, entertainment, whatever they're doing, you got to be involved in what is going on with them.
Well, that direct
Absolutely.
involvement is so true. That is definitely
Yes.
true. I know we
Yes.
can dig into this a little bit more, but we got to move on.
Most
So
definitely.
we really wanted to make a transition. I know it's kind of like the same thing we were transitioning over to. It's an appropriate time of year because it circles around this time of year, which is about speaking on men and prostate cancer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we really want to talk about to bring that awareness, especially you guys, when you see this, either the rebroadcast and whenever your time you look, if you are a man, and Harold's going to speak on this, and not getting tested, you know, and now, not just because you're over 40 or approaching 40,
Right.
really, I know of personally people that have had it between 30 and 35.
Right.
You know, so it's showing up a lot early, and it depends on a lot of different things with that. But you go ahead.
Yeah.
Harold.
Well, no. So September is prostate cancer awareness month, and what's really startling is that 1 in 4 Black men will get prostate
Wow.
cancer
Wow.
in their lifetime. And what's so interesting, I was having a conversation with our executive producer, and both he and I are prostate cancer survivors.
Right, exactly.
And what's
exactly.
most interesting about both of our cases is that neither one of us had symptoms.
Right.
So
Wow.
it is one of
Wow.
those silent killers that people you just don't have any symptoms
Right.
oftentimes.
Exactly.
And so getting tested and prevention is really, I mean, early detection is really important
Absolutely.
in terms of being able to prevent,
Absolutely.
from spreading. But the fact that it is the second leading cause of death of Black men.
Wow. So can you real speak, take maybe 2 minutes before we go to break, just in what a person from a health perspective, you know, what they can do. I mean, because I know you're being a vegan at this particular point in time in your life, but those that are not quite there, but what are the steps they need to get involved in, you know, to change that so that maybe they can deflect that, you know, from happening to them.
Right. So when I was diagnosed, I started doing research because I wanted to understand, well, how did this happen to me? And one of the things that I found out is that diet plays such a big factor in prostate cancer. Things like dairy are associated with prostate cancer, meat. But also what me and Charles, our executive producer, were talking about is stress. Because what happens is stress
yes.
weakens our immune system,
That's
and it
true.
makes us susceptible
That's true.
to all kind of diseases.
That's
And
true.
Black men are under a lot of
in
stress.
so many areas. Good point. Stress. Number one, guys. Hey, stay away from that stress. Bunch you can work out. You know, all these type of things. Meditate. If you don't believe in meditation, pray. Sit on the toilet. Do something. Okay. And definitely get your annual check. Do something. You can spend some time by yourself. Okay. At the end of the day.
It's just a finger, guys. You'll be all right.
Okay. You know what? I can't. Love it. All right. We're going to go to a quick break, guys. And when we come back, we have this phenomenal cast. I'm so excited about having these gentlemen to hear about this fantastic play that's been put together. But when we come back from break, hey, the guys from God Guys will be with us. All right. We'll be right back up this break.
If you need a pickup, call Junk Stars. Yeah. If you need a dumpster or a demolition, call Junk Stars. Yeah. Call 844-55-STARZ. Junk Stars. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
Call Junk Stars.
you need dumpster rentals,
Call Junk Stars.
All right, and welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth and its full inception tonight. We have my brother Harold in the same room, you know. We love it, the four of us. I love this energy. And like I said, we are going to make it happen. We need you guys listening. Hey, liking, and sharing. So these networks can say, hey, these four men are better than the View. Okay, these are the next Emmy winners right here. You know? The next Emmy winners. So we're gonna do it. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move further because I know we're running a little bit behind tonight and getting to you guys. We want to bring to you this wonderful cast. I'm excited. Two of them are my great brothers. They've been actually featured guests on the show and previously, you know, with out on The Truth Behind the Truth, and we welcome the other brothers with us tonight to the show. But this great play. The guys are going to talk about the inspirational part about it and to speak to the men. And it's a good thing you let out of, the prostate cancer situation. So it's speaking to men, you know, and men, we need to be spoken to, you know, at the end of the day. But anyway, without further ado, we want to bring to you the cast of God Guys, Nathan Brown. All right. Nathaniel Brown. We got Mr. Jeffrey Dickinson. Jeffrey didn't make it. Okay, that's all right. We'll speak his name into existence anyway. All right. Troy, my wonderful brother Troy Bland. Definitely, yes, indeed. Hey,
there him is.
Yes, indeed. And I think at some point join us is my other little brother. He's out here filming, which is Kevin Savage will be joining us as well as part of the cast at some point this evening too. So we are so excited to do this, man. Great guys. Welcome. Thank you for your patience. God, guys, let's talk. So Troy, how you doing?
Oh, you're muted.
You're muted, Troy.
I'm good. Last time I was on the show was a little over a year ago, and
yes,
glad to see you progressing. Great set and everything, but I'm so excited to be here and to be here on this platform, along with my other actor here, and also he's been my director in the past, C. Nathaniel Brown, known as Chuck.
Okay.
And I'm excited to be part of this powerful, I'm telling you, powerful and informative play featuring five men that come together and speak about issues, speak about what's going on in their personal lives, and it's very, very informative. So I am so excited for this to come into fruition, and it's going to be dynamic.
Wonderful.
Indeed. Thank
So
you guys
then-
for having us.
Yes, go ahead. So go ahead and share anything. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying thank you for having us. I really appreciate being here and having this opportunity to talk to you guys about the production.
Wonderful. So tell us. I mean, maybe a combined question. So, how did the idea of God Guys evolve? I mean, I know the writer's not here with you guys tonight, but just as learning your parts and what have you. How did this come about? I'm so curious about that. You know.
Yeah, so it basically started from the two of us, Troy and I.
Oh, wow.
Troy is my god brother, so he introduced me to the other guys, and we started to hang out. Went to get pizza, just having conversations and talking. And so they didn't know that behind the scenes, I was referring to them as the God Guys. So when I get home, and talk to my wife, I had a good time with the God Guys. And she was like, oh, cool. And so that kind of became, just a personal name that I had for the group of us that came together. And so maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, I started thinking about putting together a short film that would involve all of us, but then also tell some stories that most Black men don't talk about. Right. And so it kind of evolved from that idea into, once we finally brought it to the table and talked about it as a group, the guys said, let's do it as a stage play. And so that was the beginning of pulling together the production of God Guys.
Wow. So the popularity of this has just been such great. It hadn't even been shown. Did you guys have pre-shows before now, or this is just going to be like the first run of everything?
Yeah, this is going to be the first run.
Wow.
Yeah, people are excited because, again, it's genuine love within this group of brothers. So it's not just about putting a random cast together and then finding chemistry and things like that. Yeah. So as we were getting together, as I mentioned, we would share pictures about just getting together and just unwinding and just talking. And so people would say, well, where y'all at? What are y'all doing? Why weren't we invited? And so it became a thing, over the past, 1.5, 2 years, maybe even 3 years, that people just wanted to know what we were doing and what we were part of. And so as the production and the ideas started to evolve, we started saying something's coming.
Okay.
And so as soon as we formulated it, people was like, I gotta be there. I need to see what's going on. And so they're just really excited about it.
Wow. Well, as we see, the 15th and 16th is already sold out. Sold out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you
so much.
So the subtitle to the play is Black Men Owning Permission to Feel and Heal. Talk a little bit about that, because we don't often talk about that as Black men, our feelings and the trauma that we experience. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, Troy, I'm going to let you jump in there. I just want to say that subtitle comes from our writer and director, Nay Stubbs. So she is a co-producer with me on several projects. And I was telling her what I was trying to do with the story. And the more she asked me about it, I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to get to it. And so she's the type of person that I'm usually to other people. So when someone tells me something, I stay on them and say, okay, when are you going to do it? How's it coming? Show me some progress. And so she was on me about it. And then she got so excited about the idea. She said, do you mind if I start it? And I said, sure, go for it.
She's your accountability person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when she started it and she showed me the first stuff that she wrote, from some of the ideas that I was telling her about, she captured the essence of everything that I wanted, and then what we had talked about, just from those meetings. And one of the things that she came up with throughout the script was about Black men learning how to feel, being open and honest about feeling, and then also moving toward healing. And so a lot of the issues and topics that we cover, it's important for us to know that it's okay for us to feel as men, especially Black men, and then it's definitely okay for us to get healing and seek healing. And Troy, so if you can just share like some of the topics and themes that we cover and why that subtitle and tagline is so important.
And also too, people tend to think that it's not okay to get help, not okay to get therapy. But in this play, we do stress that when you have an issue, if you have a problem or you have an addiction or something, it's okay to go and speak to a therapist.
Wow.
A lot of us have these little stigmas and everything. Is Black men, we don't go and get. No, we do. It can tend from PTSD. It can come from having current issues now. But sometimes, we are afraid to talk. We're afraid to speak.
Absolutely.
We're afraid to disclose, especially if we thought of being judged upon.
Right.
And being stigmatized. But it's okay. So we stress about that even from a child to an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to feel and to heal. And sometimes we need to also take a look back and reflect what we need to do in order for us to better our lives. And sometimes there are things that we hold on to. And that causes now, Harold, I think it was Harold, you mentioned you was talking about prostate cancer and everything too, and the healing of that too. Stress, which you mentioned about stress, that can do so much damage to a person, especially as Black men in America. And so what we need to do how to release the stress is to talk about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You brought up some very, very key elements, and I'm so glad that you guys are addressing these subjects. Because they admitting that there is a need for mental wellness even among men is probably the hardest thing to do, because we've been taught, like you said, we've been programmed not to function that way. It's like, you're a man, suck it up, or whatever. You're not supposed to feel. You know what I'm saying? You're not supposed to feel this, or experience it, or over that. And I'm so glad that you guys are addressing those subjects, in this production. Really, really glad. I really hope that you guys. I must say that that you guys are going to have far more just as successful this weekend. But this will be able to be something that is spread throughout the country that informs men that it is okay to feel. I mean, really, definitely. You have to point to it.
In the developing of this production, how did y'all go about finding your co-stars? Did y'all traditionally go through the audition phase, or did you know who you wanted for your show?
Chuck?
Yeah. This was specifically for a group of guys who already had a God family relationship. So we didn't do a casting call or anything like that. This was a group that had constantly been talking and meeting, loving on each other, being able to be that support that we're talking about. And so it was only natural for us to be able to say, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do it together, because we're all involved in the industry and we all support one another. But this is the first time we've all come together to work on a project. We've worked individually, this couple over here, 3 over here, but this is the first time we've all worked together. And we knew that because of the tight knit that we had, that part of it wasn't going to be an issue. It was just about really coming together to share these stories, to address these topics so that people can really change their lives.
Wow.
So you're going to see a lot of transparency. You're going to see a lot of issues that deal with everything from molestation, addiction, abandonment issues,
Wow. Wow. Wow.
stress, anxiety.
Wow.
There's just so many of those topics. And because as a group that's already comfortable with one another, the words that are coming out, you'll feel them, and so I know that everyone who attends and sees this production will identify somebody in their lives. It might be them, it might be a brother, a sister, a cousin, or somebody, but there are so many issues that are wrapped up in it that you will definitely relate to it. And so we want to have impact. We don't just want to do a production. Like I said, we've all done stuff, but we want to make a difference. And that's why we're going to start with ourselves and saying, this is how we heal through what we feel, and don't be afraid to reach out to people and be vulnerable. And we don't always get that as Black men. We don't always have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So
I know I was going to say something.
Oh, and what? Well, I just saw Mama D making her comments out there. So we're like, hey, Mama D, thank you for the love. She's like, all my boys are up on here.
Hey, Mama D.
So Troy, you play the character Julius. Tell us a little bit about that character.
Okay, Julius is. Well, let me just tell you this, and I'm not trying to give out what the play is all about or what happened, but actually, we're all friends that grew up as kids, as adolescents, and we come together. We're reunited after years. We come and reunited at Pop's place, and that's where we all share a space here, and we start to just laugh and joke, and then all of a sudden, a discussion has come up, and then it just continues and snowballs. But Julius is he's one that he's very, very successful. He's a successful young man, but he has some issues that was prior to his success. But at the same time, he is still facing some issues in his success. There are times where as a Black man, here is Julius. We grew up in a home, well, I'm not saying it all, but he had some challenges. But at the same time, he put it in his mind to, as any other young kid, you want to be somebody, you try your best, you do whatever you can, despite where you come from, what your background is, what kind of experience you have, but you keep going. So Julius is the type that he's a go-getter, but yet he tries to be the hero, because he tries to be the hero, tries to listen to everybody, but then you know how it is when you trying to talk to somebody, but then you have some problems yourself.
Right. Exactly. Wow. Gosh, I'm not getting turned. I'm just absorbing all of what you guys are saying. I do want to go back to your explanation a little bit a while ago, Troy, both of you guys. Well, first thing, Nathan, I'm glad that I'm fortunate getting to meet you this, because Troy has told me about you over the years, and he kept saying, JB, I want you to meet Nathan. I want you to meet Nathan. And it just, our time just never was able to be connected. So we got connected this way, so I'm glad of that. I wanted to point that out. So thank you, Troy. But he used to talk about you so much, so I can understand where this involvement of you guys in the connection, and bringing forth this, this wonderful project, So I celebrate the both of you guys in terms of what you've done, up to this point, in it. So with that being said, so Nathan, tell us a little bit about your character and how you evolve in this project.
Yeah, so my character is Miles. He is an attorney, a successful attorney. So that's one of the things about all of our characters. We are all successful, positive, strong Black men. So Miles is an attorney, and everything appears to be on the, skyrocketing, all positive. Everything is great, which is on the surface how we portray ourselves as Black men in general. But underneath, there are issues that just haven't been discussed, haven't been healed from. And so because of these conversations that we have when we reunite, some of these things come out, and it causes us to look inside again, or look at things that might have happened when we were teenagers, or younger, or things that we witnessed in our home or in our communities. And so it brings out that vulnerability again because of what my brothers had shared in that time.
Wow.
So
And
you have,
I'm just cut you off. We got to get ready for a quick break, but I want you to pick back up and finish where you were at that point. All right. So, guys,
Okay.
we'll be right back with the portion of this wonderful cast of Guys. We'll be right back after this break.
Levi, you know the sentence for treason.
While health officials try to figure out whether pets can carry or spread this new virus.
I saw something that could end us all if we don't stand together and fight.
You released a substance that was chemically unstable and hadn't been tested yet.
It was put to good use.
What if I told you I could get you back something that you really wanted? What would you do?
Should be worried about all of our survival.
The Silver Five, they're not strong enough, nor do they have enough to defeat us.
You think you're free, but you're not. Everything has a cost.
We're too far out here, okay? We could be surrounded by Davros at any moment now. He will kill you if he finds out.
You should speak when I tell you to speak.
That was easy.
The longer we stay here, the more will come.
More than 500 new cases reported today, and nearly 10,000 in quarantine.
All right, and we're back. Woo! Hey, we got to give complete shout out to my director, my boy, my whatever, all those accolades, Trent Harris for such a wonderful production that's coming out. And I had an opportunity to be in the film, so I am even more ecstatically excited about it. Yeah, I told him sometime about it. I know we talked about it on the show when he was here, and I'll say real fast that I always wanted to play a doppelganger, or a vampire. And he gave, when he was writing the film, he said, "I got a part for you." All right. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, you're going to get to be an older doppelganger." So, I said, "What are you saying?" But I was really excited, thrilled to be about it. I got to die, I got to scream, I got house, it was good. So I can't wait till, the full release of it to come out. So, but kudos to him again for such a great production. It's been a little bit time in the making, but anytime you have something great, sometimes it takes a minute to come in fruition, But anyway, so back to your story.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh no, yeah. I was just saying that with all of the characters, we're successful in our occupations. Troy's character Julius is a therapist. Tobias's character is a music producer, and Kevin's character is an advertising company owner. So we're all successful. Pops is retired. He was the one that was a mentor to us. So we're all in those successful roles, but we still have things that we need to talk about. and within that group is our safe space, and we're allowed to do that and not have to worry about someone looking down upon us, but someone that's trying to bring us up, to build us up. And so I think with each of our characters being able to show the vulnerable side, the strong side, and in my case with Miles, there's a silly side as well that's going to be fun to portray. But you know, it allows us to show all sides of what a Black man is.
Wow.
So it's going to be pretty dope.
Wow. So for those, well, first of all, do you guys have, I know that the weekend is sold out for, which is phenomenal. I mean, I applaud you guys for that. Is there any opportunity that you guys are going to extend it? Is that already in the works so that everybody would know that may not get an opportunity to see it this first go around?
Yeah, it's been discussed. There's no certainty yet, but you know, we're all from different areas. And of course, our hometown saying, "Well, you got to bring it here."
Right. Okay.
And then you know, I'm from Baltimore.
Okay.
You know, Troy and Tobias are from New York. Pops is from the Virginia area. Kevin is from Philadelphia.
Right.
So, you know, all of those cities want us there and say, "Okay, you got to bring it here. You got to do this." And then any other city that we've been connected to, whether it was through college or we lived there for a time. It's really like we need it. You got to do it because we're talking about things that aren't typically talked about among Black men.
Right.
And so we want to make sure that we can do whatever we can to spread it. So there's no guarantee yet, but it's definitely in the works. So you know, maybe you guys have some connections too that want to bring us out to LA as well. So, you know.
I mean, you know, I'm impressed with it, and like I said, the number one thing is that, like you said, even the show is already sold out before it has. That says a lot. That says about the energy. That says a lot about, I would say, the universe and the spirit of what you are doing. It is drawing these people in, and those people are in need of hearing what you have to say through the words of the play. I mean, really, honestly. So tell us real quick, and I know you guys got some other questions, but about how did you come up with the title in itself, God Guys?
Yeah, a lot of people thought. By the way, Troy had a power outage. That's why he.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
We
a lot of
understand
people,
technical difficulties.
absolutely. We all have them from time to time. A lot of people think that it's a religious production because of God in the title, God Guys. But as I mentioned before, we're like a God family. We're God brothers. And you know, and that's one of the reasons too that there's a lowercase g and not a capital G, because we're not talking about God per se. We're talking about the brothers who are, you know, related through that God Guys connection. And so I just refer to them as God Guys when I talked about them. You know, where did you go for lunch? Oh, I was hanging out with the God Guys, or I was sharing, you know, with different people. So it became, you know, something that easily translated into, whenever we do this, you know, initially it was going to be a short film. Whenever we do this short film, we're going to call it God Guys. And so it just kind of easily translated because we are God brothers. We're God family. We just have that close connection.
So let me ask you something. So how long did it take you guys to write the play? I mean, in itself, and to develop it?
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm a writer first.
Okay.
Like, that's what I do. I write. And my co-producer, Nay Stubbs, she's a writer. So we were actually co-producing her first series while we were talking about other projects that we were working on. And so as I was talking to her about it, I was a little bit on delay because I'm working on 15 projects at one time, feature films, documentaries, short films, you know, all kinds of things, as is she. But she got excited about the idea. So as she started putting it together and just kind of showing me what she was doing, she captured everything. So she pretty much wrote the first draft of it maybe in a couple days.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And then, you know, after, you know, we kind of looked at it as a group, it was like, wow. And as I was mentioning before about so many people being able to relate to it, some of the guys said, wow, how did she know this about me? Like, it's not about you.
Right.
It's just so many things that so many Black men in particular can connect to. Like, wow, I've had this experience, or I know about this. And so after we had a little, you know, read through, she added to the script, added to some of the character traits and experiences, and then it became what it became. But the first draft probably took her about 2 days.
Wow. So I knew Troy told me that he was working on something, but and he said I had to keep it a secret. But it seemed like it was such a rapid pace that it just came about. Because normally when you hear such great productions, such as this coming about, they've been working on it for years.
Yes.
And finally gets to a place where it is. But the rapid pace. So this says that this is a need for this. And then, as I said earlier, I think the universe is pulling these people in to hear what you got to say, because we need this healing. Men need to heal.
Absolutely, because I know for me and so many of my friends, we thought that getting to success would heal all our trauma and all our wounds, and I think that happens you mentioned that all of the God guys are successful, and you find that people think that success equals healing, success equals wellness, and it doesn't. And so I think that's one of the reasons why this is resonating, and it's such important work, because it opens up the conversation.
Yes.
Because I think so many people think that if I get this job, if I get this house, then I'll be okay. And you realize you get that and you're still not okay.
That's right. Wow.
Or you're bringing on more things to add to what you haven't dealt with.
Right.
I'm going to manifest this as saying that y'all will probably be on Broadway.
Okay, yeah.
And I can't wait to go to New York to see this show when it happens.
Yeah.
But I also want to ask you this question. Do you still foresee this going towards film? All right, will this be, still a play that you would rather for it to be on the stage, but do you see it in the film, in the theaters?
Yeah, everything is on the table right now. We've definitely talked about the film version of it, because again, you can do so many different things on stage that you can't do on film, and on film that you can't do on stage.
Right.
So the possibility is there. We have a lot of things that we're considering. The best part about it is so many people are excited. They're ready for it. They want more, even though they haven't even seen it yet.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of it. And we are able to have those conversations about what direction we want to go next. And again, it is not limited because of so many of the issues that we address. We have the opportunity to do so many things with it. We could do a sequel. We could do a series. We could do a feature film. We could do so many things. So the possibilities are there. It just depends on how things line up, but we're definitely having those conversations.
I love that.
So tell me this. Okay, so not giving away the play, but can you give us a brief synopsis on what you guys are addressing, kind of a little bit more specifically in the play, or the different scenes, or or in that light, I should try to say.
Yes, absolutely. The one thing that I think will help you understand is the basis of the play is there are these 5 guys. 4 of these men were young teenagers at a community center, where Pops was the older mentor at the center. So this is how we united and maintained that relationship, whereas he's that mentor figure, because a lot of Black men, as you know, grew up without fathers in the home.
Yes.
And so he became that father figure for us. But what happens is some of those issues that we mentioned earlier that happened from the time some of us were preteens, teenagers, young adults, carried on throughout those years without there being any healing. And so those things manifested in different parts and relationships that each of the characters had. And so that's where you find out about those things, such as the molestation, the addiction, the abandonment issues, the women issues, all of those types of things. And so, again, because of that vulnerability that you have in that safe space with this group of men, this is where those conversations begin. And I do want to mention too, and you can tell me if now is the appropriate time or not, but because we focus on the origin of this group of men as teenagers, we're doing a very special show. The opening show, the matinee show on that Saturday, is a free show for teenagers and young adults,
Yeah.
Black
Wow.
organizations, foster care homes, advocacy groups, mentorship groups that deal with Black youth ages 13 to young adults 24. So we're inviting them to come see this production at no cost to them, to be able to start healing that group at an early age, so they don't have to wait until they're in their 40s like our characters or 50s and still have to deal with it. But if we get them at an early age, we might be able to make a bigger difference. So I just want to throw that out there too, because that's not included in the public 2 shows that are already sold out.
Okay.
That's a 3rd show that we're doing specifically for them, because again, a big part of what we're doing is a mission about having that impact, starting with our young people.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Trey. What a powerful way to be able to do that. I mean, that again, you're starting this out, sowing the seeds to develop a much better community. You know, that is so powerful. Troy, I'm gonna just bring your point. We're gonna go to a quick break and we'll be right back. And Troy, you can pick up your point at that point. All right, we'll be right back with the God Guys.
You made it right back in time for the commercial.
There's that technical difficulty like we talked about.
It's all right. Well, that was a quick commercial break. Psych.
Well, Troy, while we're getting the commercial together, go ahead and share your part real quick.
No, I'm just talking about the show that Chuck was talking about for the youth.
Yes.
You know, we appreciate the sponsors for allowing that to happen. So,
yes.
Like I said, this is not for mature audiences only, but this is also for the youth to hear, to see, and to get answers.
Wow. Wow. I'm getting, I mean, I'm just so taken by, I'm not taken in a great way as to what you guys have done. That is just, so, I mean, because you hear it talked about all the time, you know, I mean, in different circles and what Black men are not doing. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, some of these people I know that we listen to the garbage that they put out there, and you know, the rhetoric that is being said about Black men, you know, and this is such a powerful comeback. You know, at any point of this woman, you know, what is her name, Cynthia? Somebody.
We ain't going there.
But I know, right? The garbage created. Okay, I mean, you know. But you know, hey, y'all stamping out the garbage, okay?
For sure.
Very much so. I don't know, we got our commercial ready at this point. We can go ahead and run through it. We'll come right back.
Is there no?
No, not ready. Okay, anyway. Well, we're gonna keep talking.
I think it's just so important, like JP was saying, that we have shows like this come up, because I know I make it my duty to counteract the negative portrayals of Black men. You know, when I always hear stuff about, oh, Black men don't take care of their children.
Right.
I'm like, here are videos of these Black men loving on their children, you know, kissing and hugging on their sons, because sons need to know that daddy loves them just like the little girls do, you know. And a lot of times we get a lot of fathers who think, oh, he's 13 now, he don't need me to hug him and love him and tell him I love him. It's like, no, he still needs you to say, you know, daddy loves you, daddy's proud of you, you know, what all of those things happening. And that this show is focusing on other than sports or women or cars,
right?
You know, that this is like, this is about how we feel about stuff,
right?
Because I know I just was reading, I was trying to find it earlier. There was a story about this Black therapist who got fired from her job for saying that Black men need therapy. And like, where's the lie?
Right.
Exactly.
You know, there's a lot of shit that we have to deal with on the daily.
That's true.
That yes, therapy would help us to combat all that stuff. Again, just the stereotypes that we don't take care of our kids, or we don't want to work, or we don't want to do this. It's like that we have, especially for those men, like these men in this show are all successful. Like, well, here are examples who are countering everything that you're saying that we're not. Here we are. We're educated. Right. You know, we're kind. We're loving. We hurt. All those things are happening. You need to see that side of us, and not just this myth of what the Black man is.
And can I say something now? That's exactly true. And let me just mention too, Chuck mentioned that his character is an attorney. I myself is a therapist.
Oh wow!
So
the therapist is needing the therapy.
What's that now?
The therapist is needing the therapy.
We all need therapy.
But that's a good. I mean, that's a good spin on that. I mean, I love that. I mean, the therapist doesn't need that. That's really powerful. Let me say this real quick, Troy. I wanted to again, as a dear friend of mine, dear friend that you are, I just want to publicly say for everybody that's watching, and that I am proud of you as the man that you are and have become, to have taken responsibility as a grandfather to raise your grandchildren. Wow. You know, man. You know, that's deep, Troy. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't have to make that decision. You know what I'm saying? You could have lived your life and pushed it off to you to know. But that's a lot of commitment. This is, I think, why this role is just, this whole play is about, because of the energy and the greatness that you're putting out there. Why not be the benefits of this? Why not have a great production? You know what I mean? Because you're living it. You know what I mean? You're living it out. You're presenting your best authentic self to your grandchildren to help them become the great men of color that they can be in society. Man, I applaud you. You know what I mean? Totally much so as your efforts in doing that.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And not only that, you know, my two grandchildren are 13 and 14 years old. So now it's definitely a challenge now that they're in their teenage years.
Right.
But I'm also been a mentor for the Adopt a Role Model program.
Okay.
In Macon, Georgia since 1991. And this is being a mentor for the program I'm just putting out there, where it was developed to be for mentorship for young men that's growing up in a single parent home. Mm-hmm. And I, for one, have become was a member of that since 91. So I know, because I grew up in a single parent home. My mom and my dad split up when I was very young. And you know, and it was hard growing up in the house, you know, being the oldest, and you know, taking care of my younger ones without a father in the home. Mm-hmm. So, and let me just mention this, that even in the play itself, you know, some of us have some experiences, what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Some, okay, to a degree. So that's how come this play, I'd like to say production, is so authentic and real. Mm-hmm. So we're not doing so much of acting at all.
Okay.
But we're just coming together because we have a genuine bond and we know each other. But then when I'm telling you, when I read the script, thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Nay, for writing one of the most powerful scripts that was ever written for me to be a part of, because Troy Bland, or as Julius, really can relate to some things that's going on in this. So, and then just like to say, as a therapist in the play, don't be afraid to talk.
Wow.
We can't go without, without giving hurrahs and yays to our Black women who are always there standing behind Black. So your accountability person, you know, being a sister is like, no, y'all need to make this happen.
Right.
And I think that's so important that Black men always take time to uplift and honor the Black women in our lives who have been there and are also often in a thankless job. You know, people just expect Black women to always be strong and holding up, and we have to return that favor. A lot of times, like, okay, I see you, sister, I love you, I support you, we're cheering you on. Despite what you hear, there are millions of Black men who love and support and honor and cherish Black women. So I just want to make sure that message gets out there too.
Wow. Guys, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, and there are genuinely Black women who want to see Black men win. Yep, and so that stereotype, and that these angry Black women always hating on Black women, is always hating on Black men. They don't want to. That's not true. So even when we read the script in its entirety, it's one of those things like, wow, a woman wrote this. These stories from a male perspective. Wow. And I've written a lot of women characters as well. And people would say, wow, you wrote this? Mm-hmm. So there is that connectivity that's there. And even though the cast is 5 Black men, it's still inviting women in to feel as well, because we want to help women as much as we want to help men. Absolutely. Let them understand some of the things that we go through that we don't talk about. Now they can have those conversations where it's like, wow, I didn't know that you felt that way. I didn't know that you went through that. And so it's about healing all of us, because again, we can't do it by ourselves.
Exactly. You know, I guys, I mean, I love this conversation. I know we can continue and probably even opening up doors. Open up doors about. So tell me this real quick. Is there going to be a way, a connective piece that everyone can stay in touch with you guys well after the play to find out what's, you know, I mean, the involvement? Because I see this as a mission. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a movement. You know what I'm saying? So is there a way that they're going to be able to continue to be in touch with you as this movement is happening of healing?
Yes, we are definitely working on some things. We're not ready to announce them yet, but there will be some continuation in several ways. So even at the conclusion of the production, after each performance, we're going to do a Q&A. So we're going to give people an opportunity to ask some questions, maybe some things that they thought they felt, or they wanted to know some of the in-betweens of the characters, because obviously we can't show everything, but there's enough that's implied that you might want to know more. And so we've also connected with several organizations to be able to extend to people who maybe are triggered by some things, you know, or need therapy themselves. And we want to be able to make some of those connections. So there are a lot of things that are in the works that we're definitely going to extend to the general public.
Beautiful. You know, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I mean, I've been richly inspired, and I just speak great success to you at this production. That every production just tears down the house. Every night, every show just tears down the house in a good way. You know, definitely.
You.
But keep us informed so we can definitely, you know, promote whatever you need to do about this going forward. Hey, and much success to you. Troy, good to see you. Great to meet you, Nate. I'm glad that we had this opportunity to do this.
Sold out.
Hey, it's sold out. Yes.
I just want to just give a shout out to my brothers, to Kevin Savage, who plays Dante, and to Tobias Amand, who plays Rico, and Jeffrey Dickinson, who plays Pops.
Yes.
They are phenomenal. Watch and listen to their stories. I'm telling you.
Wow.
It's genuine.
Phenomenal. Thank you again, guys. I mean, hey, and again, we apologize for the technical difficulties, but we're here, we were said, and we touched who we were supposed to touch. All right. You guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in to Find the Truth.